How you doing? How you doing? And how you doing, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy Petty, and I appreciate you stopping by today. And today we here to take just a little baby look at Marvel Future Revolutions. You love to see it. You love to see it. Now, for those of you that are new to the channel, we got our first real big break on YouTube focusing on mobile MMOs, and since then we have kept a very sharp eye on the genre and made many critiques of it, because a lot of the things in the mobile MMO genre is just autoplay garbage with carbon copy characters that have slightly different skins, but all of their moves are basically the same. There's no real difference in anything, and it's just like, I don't know, riding the world's slowest roller coaster. Just it's a do-nothing experience, and as someone that has very high hopes for the genre on mobile, this game delivers. Like, it shows up twice. That's how much it's putting in work. Like, it's insane. It is probably, and I'm not exaggerating or being super over the top, it is probably the best mobile MMO we have gotten on the platform ever. Not going to say it's going to be the best of all time, because we don't know that. But in terms of what you get and what they deliver, in terms of character uniqueness, story, there being an actual game to play that you can't just auto all the way through, and the fact that, like, character depth is pretty insane. You can have real skill builds in this game, 100%. 100%. This isn't no, oh, they all have their own moves and their own animations, but they're basically doing the same thing. We've seen that in several dozen different games at this point. So if you're wondering why I'm selling this so hard, because this really is, I think, the best example we've ever gotten of mobile MMO that's doing it right. So let's go ahead and take a look at the game. I want to go ahead and, for brand new players, kind of give you guys a good rundown and just try and set you up for success when it comes to this game, because it launched today and it's doing numbers, and we're super proud. So let's go ahead and get into it. Alright, so let's start off talking about the actual heroes. As you can see, I got my man's Doctor Strange here. Now, this is probably going to be my #1 recommended unit for new players. So our boy Doctor Strange here, it does one of the top tier jobs in terms of AoE damage, in terms of CC. Spider-Man gets him beat out in PvP specifically, but this man has one of the only counters in the game, with being able to make him and his teammates immune, which will then basically say, sorry, Spider-Man, you can't put me up in the web today. I got some hands for you, though. So this is always going to be, I think, my #1 recommendation for people to pick up and start trying out the game. Now, the amazing thing about this is that you're not going to be able to just main one character. If you want to get your squad rank up, which is very important to get up, because this is what is tied to your progression in the story mode and essentially your leveling process entirely. But to get this squad rank up, you're going to need to play multiple characters, at least as a free-to-play, to be able to get your squad rank up very fast, because there is some stuff that essentially resets every time you're going through. Specifically, your hero levels, you will be able to claim these for every single character that you play. And as you can see, you get some pretty crazy squad EXP from this. So leveling multiple characters is going to be your bread and butter. That is one of the reasons that I say start off with Doctor Strange, because you're going to have a very nice, easy introduction into the game. You're going to have lots of AoE. Alright, now that we've talked, to our poor people for a second, shout out my pores, let's talk to the spenders real fast, guys. I know that you want to throw money at the game every time it throws you a deal that, like, oh, that looks like it's pretty good. One thing I want to caution you about, and again, I just want to make sure that you guys don't waste money, essentially. So we may have a few jokes here and there, but we're not trying to knock you guys at all. Early on, they will try and push several packs for you to buy essentially certain hero items. And specifically, it'll be battle badges that they try and sell you. These are going to get replaced very quickly. Gear not replaced as quickly, but there's a certain meta to that I wouldn't really push anyone that's starting the game and figuring it out to start trying to buy gear. Just don't worry about that for a little bit. If they try to sell you some packs that will directly impact your squad rank, yeah, for you guys, that's probably a good idea. It'll help you get through the story and help you reach max level faster on your main character. You will not have to do as much of the grind of the rest of us, where we have to go and level multiple characters. But honestly, all of the characters in this game are so unique and special that playing multiple of them, it's amazing that it's as well rewarded as it is. A lot of these games don't do that. And let's go ahead and take a look at a few skills, just to touch on that real fast. If you haven't seen anything on the skills in this game yet, there are straight up builds that you can do. I know I'm covering up one of them, so I'm going to try and just lean over as much as I can. But all of these skills essentially have 4 versions of them, and they change at times pretty radically and make them, you know, fill an entirely different role in a build that you might be doing. So it's very, very impressive that we got the number of spells that we have, that there's 4 versions of all of these spells. Like, it's damn near the Diablo rune system on these skills, and it's amazing. It actually changes things up more. I would say that it goes further than the Diablo rune system, because that one is just like, hey, we'll put like a different flavor on this skill. And some of these straight up changes change from being buffs to attacks, or attacks to buffs, or CCs to just straight up damage. Like, there's a lot here. It's very, very, very impressive the amount that they worked into these skills. And if they continue this and we get a bunch more characters, it is insane the amount that will go into each of those new characters. It's not just something that's reskinned and gets a new animation. These builds are in depth. This is the best skill system that I've seen in any mobile MMO, period. 100%. So another thing that I want to touch on real fast is how to share items and cards and some of the important stuff between your multiple characters. It can be a little bit tricky to find, but if we go over to squad, card storage, and then storage itself will be shared between your characters. This is a great way that while you're leveling up, once you get, you know, essentially replace something that is a pretty decent battle badge, think about putting that in your storage so that another character of yours has a chance to use it, and the same thing with your Omega cards. Alright, next let's get into talking about some combat goodies, because this game makes you play it, especially when you're leveling up and going through the initial story. Those supervillain fights are no joke. Now, we're doing a blitz right now, and you can 100% auto a blitz, especially once you've out-leveled them, and especially once you've got some pretty decent gear and you can crank out some of that damage. Now, the supervillain fights that you will go through in the story can be very, very challenging. Personally, I had to do some of them at least 5 to 6 times to be able to get through them. So if you try it and you fail, don't think like, oh crap, I have to spend money. No, baby, you just gotta practice that fight a little bit. And I will give you the #1 tip that you can possibly get to get ready for every single boss fight in this game. Okay, all right, I want you to pay very close attention to what I'm about to do, all right? We're going to click the fly button, if you're playing a fly character, and we're just going to fly around. We're just going to fly around. Now, obviously, we're in a blitz, not an actual supervillain fight, but honestly, just do that for the first 30 seconds that you are in these fights, and you will pick up their moves, you will see what they're doing and what the kind of rotation is, and you will have a much easier time. Also, something you probably saw flashing across the screen, those big red areas, those are essentially AoE sections, and they are laid out in a pretty awesome way. So they will light up the ground itself and show you where it's going to go, and then that space will start filling up with a red stuff. I don't know, stuff. We're just going to go with stuff. It's going to be filling up with that red stuff, and when it reaches the top of that, it's going to come down, and that move is coming. So it essentially, depending on how fast it's moving, gives you a pretty good idea of how much time you have to get out of the way. And a lot of those early supervillain fights, you can get one shot real easy. So paying attention to those moves, respecting those moves, it's gonna make your life better, and that's why I highly recommend you just fly around for the first 30 seconds and get used to the pattern and what the boss is doing, and then you're going to have a much, much easier time once you know all of the kind of telegraph moves for that fight. And hopefully we'll get a little less bullied. So just do a little bit of flying, be a little bit passive. If you're one of the people that can only run in the game, I don't know why you picked, I'm playing them. They're fine. Black Widow is disgusting in PvP. You can pick a non-flying character and do great in this game. Those are just memes. But take a very passive role in the beginning of those fights and learn all of the boss's moves. Because it can be very frustrating to get, 5 to 10 minutes into one of these fights, have this man this close to dead, and then get caught with something and get one shot. So while I absolutely love the challenging degree that there is and the fact that this is the first mobile MMO where you actually have to play it 100%, it's nice. I am very, very, very impressed, and that combat is so good. But yeah, you're going to want to make sure you understand the fights, and yeah, because you can get pretty bullied going up through them ranks. That's all I'm going to say. So in closing, this is one of the most impressive mobile MMOs we've ever seen on the market. I am super excited to see its future, and we're of course going to cover it more on this channel. And again, another thing that I just want to stress for some of you that are planning to spend a little bit of money on this, be careful about buying any early game gear because it will be replaced very quickly, especially if you're a spending player. Your squad rank is going to go up a lot because you get a lot of that from buying the early packs that they advertise. Just don't try to buy early game gear because you're going to shoot up in levels spending money in this game. But I think we're going to go ahead and call it right there, and I'm just going to start working on leveling up some more characters so we can do some more build guides. Obviously, we have Doctor Strange built. Not max level yet. But there's a couple of characters that I really want to do videos on because they have pretty interesting and amazing kits. So we'll go ahead and call this one here. But we gonna be back with more Marvel Future Revolution content. You believe that. But alright guys, I appreciate your faces. Thank you so much for stopping by today. And you're gonna have to catch your boy in the next one, cause we're out of here. Deuces.